Ubisoft says the quiet part out loud. What is this? Ubisoft executive says gamers need to get comfortable not owning their games for subscriptions to take off. Pretty bold to say this as Ubisoft, a game company nobody likes, you know? Like, in an era where more and more and more good video games are being made by dedicated studios with like passionate teams and artists, to be like one of the studios that is basically like the medium definition of slop, and to be like, no, in order for you to for you to continue getting your slop, for you to get more, live service subscription models that have 16 kinds of currency in the game, and incremental RPG like equipment upgrades to like keep you grinding it out season to season. You'll need to know that you don't even own your games anymore. You don't even get to own them. You just get to, like, I don't know, buy the gift of having the downloaded data on your computer. Ubisoft's main crime is being French also. Yeah, it's technically Ubisoft in the French tradition. This is literally you will own nothing and be Carl Schwab. Carl Schwab, I thought you were German, but truly, well, Germany and France are right next to each other. Are you comfortable not owning your video games? Yes, I don't need to buy games on a disc. No, I always, but you can own a video game with it being downloaded. What? Okay, a game being on a disc does not necessarily mean that you own it in the way that is being discussed here, and downloading a game doesn't mean you don't. You can get it DRM free. Like anything you get from GOG would you own those games, They know the difference. Industry CEO heads are trying to load the vote. Yeah, by implying that you have to buy a disc in order to own a game, a bunch of people are going to be like, all right, I accept the convenience of an online download, even if it means I don't own it, even though you can own a game while having downloaded it. These people from IGN.com, yeah, so they're fully in line with that set of interests. Yep. Physical versus digital debate. Yeah, they're not even talking about like DRM free stuff. You can have a game that you download that is yours. Like the data is yours. DRM free. You can play it no matter what. Like there are even online games that are DRM free. If the servers go down, the servers go down. But like, still, Jesus. Yeah, Pops. You can own a disc for a game, but the game can still be designed in a way that basically means you don't own it. What does DRM free mean? If you download a game and it's just sitting there on your desktop, like it's just there and you have all the files and that's it. You can share it. It's offline. Like it doesn't have to be offline, but it means like there's nothing that's been done to the files, or there's no encoding system or like internal password management or whatever that prevents it from being usable. Like a DRM free game. Okay. A DRM free game. If you buy it and then the apocalypse happens, the entire company that manufactured the game and the servers that host the online play go down, and you find your computer hard drive 50 years later in the dying out wastes of society as you like stumble towards it as like an 85-year-old man. Your last moment is to press the button, and miraculously the last bits of power in the PC battery that you had powers it on, and you can play that game. You can play that game right there, That's the whole point. That's the goal. It's about owning the data and access to it, Jose Soto. I mean, you don't literally like own the IP of the game, of course. Yeah. It's also more often than not that DRM literally impacts game performance, sometimes a lot. Yep. I've said this before, but there is a lot of optimization that they literally just don't do for modern games. Like, if you go back to the shit they had to pull to make Quake work, back when they were developing the very first 3D games, they were like folding pocket universes into themselves. They were like the computer tricks they had to pull to make that shit work back then. They were wizards. And nowadays, now that everyone has giant beefy computers, they're like, whatever, dude, just like throw all these like unoptimized Unreal Engine like assets, throw them in, whatever. Using an algorithm to cut down on the amount of GPU load that like grass textures use, nah, like why bother, whatever. Just people can just buy more expensive graphics cards, from the companies that we often partner with, there's no malicious incentive there for us to poorly optimize our games so that people will go out and buy more expensive graphics cards, which they'll then have to justify the purchase of by buying top of the line AAA games. Oh, I hate the industry. Guys, just play indie games. Just play indie games. I played Small Saga the other day. You know what it was? It was good. Play indie games. It's totally free of this bullshit, Larian Studios is more of a double A studio than a triple A studio, I feel, but they're punching above their weight, It definitely helps Larian Studios that A, they had a bunch of time to make Baldur's Gate 3, and B, they made Baldur's Gate 3 already before. several times in the form of Divinity Original Sin and Sin 2. They have found their system, they're working within it, and God bless them for it, you know? Plus the beta, long beta. No, Skynet, no, fully, I agree, yeah. I do not buy the idea that, like, there's any reason for games, especially on console, to be like 100 gigabytes to download. I just don't buy that bullshit. I just don't. I really genuinely do think that they are not compressing that data specifically because they want to, like, press you into, like getting additional downloads, whatever. Like, there's so many, like, interconnected monetary incentives where, like, they you over, so you have to get more things, they you over again. I've heard it has to do with poor audio compression. Yeah, but again, keep in mind that, like, you like, you know, there have been times where it's been found out that there have been, like, a collection of, like, swordswing.wav files in a game, and none of them are compressed, and the total, like, chunk of that file size is, like, 20 gigabytes or something, for something that could easily be, like, 20 megabytes, without, without, like, compromising the audio quality at all. Like, the shit like that happens, you know? It's not, I don't think it's an accident. They do so much shit. I mean, it could be because they're just idiots, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's because they're idiots. I don't know. Sometimes, though, it's like a malicious incompetence thing, you know? Or whatever. Vote and I listen, okay? I'm not a professional. They're not idiots. They're overworked and underpaid. Game studios need them unions and stat. Well, I agree. But I don't think it's all overwork and underpaid. I think a lot of it is, like, they don't care. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. A lot of this is inference. It's because games are so much bigger, much more work involved. I don't buy that, though. You have a final game that's been, like, put together. You see the file size and you think, wait, is there one single gigantic folder that's like half of the goddamn size of this entire game that I could quickly look at and fix in, like, 2 hours of work? Because compressing data isn't, like, that difficult to do. Obviously, like, getting it the perfect amount of compressed so you don't have the issue. Like, yeah, sure, that can take some work. But in terms of, like, total, like, raw, uncompressed data, that's pretty easy to find, identify. It's not like it's a little hidden secret. You see the gigabyte, like, number at the end of the finished product, you know? I think sometimes they hate you. They're demons and they hate you and they want you to die. I think that's it, partly. It's also possible, and this might be, like, I don't know, a little more conspiratorial, that on the top end they have, like, people whose job it is to make sure they fuck up like that, because their fuck ups are in their monetary interest. Because, I mean, you know, again, the larger file size means people want to buy storage, or it means, like, poor optimization means people's graphics cards catch on fire, so they want to buy better graphics cards, you know? And maybe, like, they're like, nah, you know, maybe you don't need to compress the files, you know? Or, like, nah, you know, maybe you don't need a better algorithm for, like, you know, clearing out the data on the grass texture or whatever. That's my tinfoil hat. I've got the gigantic tinfoil hat on right now, I believe. Yeah, Alex, it's not like stuff like this doesn't happen elsewise, you know? Wait, is this a joke? City Skyline 2, wait, there's no way. This has to be a meme. Please, God, tell me this is a meme. There's no way. There's no way. This game has no LOD on teeth on civilians in City Skylines 2. That's so typical of them. Thank you, Paradox. Thank you. Brilliant. Brilliant decision yet again. Phenomenal. Excellent. This is like the Freddy Fazbear. What does that mean? That means that if you're zoomed out on your gigantic city with 10,000 people in it, all of those little dots of people walking around have perfectly modeled lips and teeth. Millions of polygons that are taking up your computer's rendering and processing power for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, this is like yandere dev shit. Why do they have teeth in the first place? Because they have smiling or, like, talking animations, but those should only be visible up close. LOD means level of detail. As you zoom out from 3D models, most games that aren't made by chimpanzees have models that are lower resolution that replace them. See how this car down here looks kind of, like, blocky or whatever? That's probably because as you zoom further out, it turns more and more into, like, a tiny little rectangle or whatever. Yeah, it's the reason for pop-in. When you get close to stuff, like, have you ever gotten close to a wall or, like, a building in a video game and it suddenly, like, got more detail or whatever? This is fake, it's purely meme. It can't be fake, it can't be a meme. Somebody in chat, I don't even remember who, told me that it's not a meme. It has to be real. They're certainly talking about it like it's real. The blue blocks on the bottom labeled DDMO HDRP contain an instance draw calls of meshes running characters, scrubber set GPU duration scale. Upvote if you have no idea what you just read. Haha, bazinga. The teeth are real, but there is LOD. So the teeth are just preserved in the LOD, or well, whatever. This is so off topic, dude. Whatever. I don't know. It had to be real. Somebody online said it. It's true. Paradox has always been a shit company, though. The way they make games like City Skyline is they half make it and then just rely on the modders to finish it. You know, it's like they do that. That's like their motto. It's how they handle shit. Bethesda style. Bethesda does it too, but genuinely, Bethesda does not do it as badly as Paradox does. Paradox like just releases like unfinished games. It's insane. City Skylines is Colossal Order, not Paradox directly. Oh, is that true? Is there like a sub company that manages that? If so, I've always heard people refer to it as a Paradox game. Finnish video, of course it's Finnish. Video game studio developer business. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, all my criticisms transfer over, you know. But you know, there you go. Paradox is the publishing. Yeah, but they take like pretty direct heat for a lot of stuff that gets released underneath them. I don't know how much direct control they have.